Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joseph Novichkov, Senior Trading Manager for GDM with today's outlook. Starting briefly with Japan, it takes the spotlight early on Monday with gross domestic product showing the country emerging out of recession in the fourth quarter of 2014, although the growth figures came out much weaker than expected. Gross domestic product grew an annualized 2.2%. The yen went up with 50 pips against the US dollar briefly to 118.35 and taking support at the 200 exponential moving average. The second largest economy in Asia will also release its January trade data on Friday, which will likely see exports chalking up a fifth straight month of growth, up to 11.9% year on year. However, imports are expected to contract an annual 4.8%, leaving Japan with a trade deficit of 1.690 billion yen. That's approximately 14 billion US dollars for a record 31st month in a row. Tuesday, tomorrow, also brings the minutes from the latest central bank meeting in Australia, which will confirm that probably the door is opened to another interest rate cut, but are likely to say anything new given Governor Glenn Stevens' parliamentary testimony last Friday. The Reserve Bank of Australia chopped interest rates by a quarter point last week to a historic low of 2.25%, stirring a 12-session winning streak in the benchmark S&P 200 index. The Aussie is slightly higher this morning versus the US dollar ahead of the meeting coming up on Tuesday. In the eurozone, the euro edged up this morning on hopes that Greece and eurozone finance ministers will find common ground to support Greece beyond the expiry of the current bailout program at the end of February. Ahead of this eurozone finance ministers meeting later today, Greece said it was confident of reaching agreement in negotiations with its eurozone partners, while of course reminding it would not accept harsh austerity strings in any debt pact. The common currency is steady at the moment ahead of the meeting, 1.1420 versus the USD. Gold in the commodity sector extended gains to a third session on Monday, bolstered by safe haven bids on a softer dollar. Gold is up 0.3% to 1232.50 an ounce this morning after gaining 0.6% to this previous session. Traders were eyeing a meeting of Eurozone finance ministers in Brussels later on to find common ground with, of course, Greece's new government, which was elected on a pledge to scrap the austerity structures of Greece's international bailouts. In this meeting, if this meeting produces no results, there is concern that Greece will be heading for a credit crunch and would be forced to go out of the Eurozone. However, sentiment towards gold remains bearish as the outlook for the dollar remains upbeat, as many investors continue to price in an interest rate hike by the US Federal Reserve sometime this year. Taking a brief glance at oil's recovery, it may be short-lived, but some analysts believe now is the time to get back into energy stocks. The impact of the oil price has been well and truly priced into every major oil producer around the world. Oil service companies have been hammered, and there is a chance price may fall further. That's all from me for today. Thank you very much for joining us. See you next time. Bye-bye.